Discussions on economics. Global economics. Is globalization good or bad?
Hey, have you ever wondered if globalization is good or bad?
Yes, I have. There are many different opinions on the topic.
Some argue that globalization promotes unity and cooperation among nations.
while others argue that it widens the gap between rich and poor and threatens to homogenize cultures.
I read that globalization has reduced poverty levels in many developing countries.
That's true, but it has also led to the exploitation of workers in some countries.
I also read that globalization has increased access to technology and improved communication.
Yes, but it has also led to the loss of jobs in some industries and countries.
So, overall, is globalization a force for good or bad?
It's difficult to say. Globalization has both positive and negative effects, and it depends on the context and perspective.
That's true. It's important to consider all sides of the debate before making a conclusion.
Exactly. It's a complex issue that requires careful consideration and analysis.
Should there be a universal basic income, UBI?
Do you think a universal basic income scheme is a good idea?
I'm not sure. What's the idea behind it?
It's a government policy that provides a single unconditional payment to replace means-tested welfare systems. It's been considered as a more effective means of distributing aid to the developing world and as a means to account for the potential loss of jobs due to advanced automation.
Interesting. What are the benefits of a UBI policy?
A UBI policy can reduce poverty, improve health and education outcomes, and promote social cohesion. It can also stimulate economic growth and reduce income inequality.
What about the potential drawbacks?
Some argue that a UBI policy could discourage work and lead to inflation. However, studies show that a modest UBI policy would not have a significant impact on work incentives.
How would a UBI policy be funded?
A UBI policy would replace some existing welfare and benefits programs and would be funded through existing forms of taxation. Additional taxes may be necessary to fund the policy.
Do you think a UBI policy could work in the developed world?
Yes, a UBI policy could work in the developed world. It would require careful consideration and planning, but it has the potential to improve the lives of many people. Should there be one world state? Hey, have you ever thought about a world with only one state?
Yes, I have. It's an interesting concept, but is it practical?
Well, a one-world state would mean a unified approach to development and all the world's resources could be combined together for research of new industries and technologies.
That's true, but there are vastly different approaches to fundamental issues such as rights, authority, and religion around the world. Would it ever be possible to combine the interests and beliefs of 7 billion people into a coherent and representative set of policies?
That's a good point. However, the success of the European Union demonstrated the ability of a diverse set of nations to come together under a joint goal to achieve prosperity for all its members.
But the world contains democracies, autocracies, and everything in between. Combining all these beliefs into one form of governance may be an impossible task.
That's a valid concern. However, a major barrier to cooperation in joint ventures is conflicting political motivations. A one-world state could remove this barrier.
I see your point, but the nation-state represents unique values and beliefs. Would a single-state world provide better social, economic, and political opportunities for its citizens?
It's a complex issue. A one-world state could provide better resources and opportunities, but it could also lead to a loss of cultural diversity and unique representation of values.
Exactly. It's important to consider both the advantages and disadvantages of a one-world state before making any conclusions.